Have you ever been tweaking and tweaking your pattern or illustration for hours, sometimes even days, and still not satisfied with your work, even though you spent so many hours, got tired, but then you have nothing to show for it, or just have one pattern that you are very tired of? I know this problem, and I have something special for you to teach you how I go about it, a formula that I created for myself. Hello, my amazing creative friend. I am Oksancia, and I have been a textile designer and illustrator for more than 13 years now. So I really know what it takes to finish finally the pattern or pattern collection that you are working on, or maybe an illustration as well. So these principles apply to all kinds of types of artwork and repeat pattern designs, but I'm going to talk about patterns in particular for this illustration for you. Alright, so first of all, I want you to start thinking that you are okay. This thing that you are experiencing is very common. It was common so much for beginners, and it is still common for professional illustrators and artists and designers. So it is okay. You do not have to beat yourself up. However, I will help you how to go through it faster and build up your portfolio much faster as well. So the very first thing I want you to start thinking now is that finishing up one particular pattern to the perfectionist ideals that you might have, comparing your work with somebody else's work who might be tens of years ahead of you, much more experience, it will not really give you any big wins in your life. You will start thinking that I have to tweak, and this tweaking will get me somewhere and will improve my work. And I do think that you need to improve your work. Quality is very important, and I just want to tell you that I am not saying that if your pattern is technically wrong and there's an error in it, you definitely should fix it and you should learn how to do it correctly. However, if your pattern is technically correct and you already laid it out, I want you to start thinking that building your portfolio will get you much faster to the successful business than just tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. You will end up being frustrated with one single pattern that you created, and you will get really nowhere. So start thinking that the quick building of your portfolio is super important, and you will not get hung up on any one particular pattern for too long unless you're practicing some kind of technical thing, or maybe practicing a specific style that involves some particular tweaking, but not more than the amount of time I'm going to share with you soon. Alright. So, I do have a special formula for you today that I call repeat and complete. This is my own invention. I just did this process for myself, and my students have been asking me why they have been tweaking and tweaking for days starting out, and this is what I shared with them, and I wanted to share with you as well. Alright, so I will go through it step by step. So step 1. You need to complete the pattern. Repeat pattern design, in my case, I create vector repeat pattern designs in Illustrator, but it can be in any other software or even in traditional media. You complete the pattern, you create technically correct repeat, so everything is correct technically, and then normally you start tweaking, changing colors, changing all those little things, tweaking, making this a little bit smaller and that a little bit bigger. This is an important part of the process, but it will not get you anywhere far if you keep going it too much. So what do you need to do to save yourself so much time and frustration? You need to follow a few simple steps that I call those steps together my complete and repeat formula. I made it up myself. This is my own invention, and I just want to teach you so that you can save so much time and frustration and build your pattern portfolio much faster. So let's jump right in. Step 1, you need to have a completed repeat pattern design or illustration, other types of artwork that you created and technically repeated correctly. So it has to be laid out correctly with all the elements. You have that, and now you have the urge to start tweaking and adjusting and moving. Step 2, you need to set a timer for 20 minutes. Once you feel yourself a little bit kind of tweaking, set a timer for 20 minutes and then tweak everything that you want to tweak for 20 minutes. Once that timer goes off, by the way, I like to use the Google voice control timer on my phone. It's just a Google app on my phone, and I just speak, say, set the timer for 20 minutes, and it works super, super nicely. So what happens there is that you work on tweaking your pattern for 20 minutes. Once the timer goes off, you might still feel the urge that it's not complete and you need to tweak. You need to save your file, very important, and close that file. Get it away from your eyes, away. The best thing is go make yourself a cup of tea or change some activity, whatever you do. Take a walk, or even better, save it and go do something else and come back next day if you so inclined. It helps for me, definitely it helps me to see better how my file looks like. So the next day you set your time to work on your patterns, you open up that pattern that you created yesterday, set the timer for 20 minutes again, and look at that pattern. If that pattern feels that it works very well, I really like it, done. You're done. Go through the process of preparing it for posting online or delivering to your client if it's a one-on-one client, but you're done. Congratulations. If not, if it still feels weird to you, let's say there's a little this element is too small and the colors are a little bit off, set the timer again for 20 more minutes and tweak again for 20 minutes if you want to. However, always create a second version of that file. Call it version 2. Same name, version 2. And then if you, by some chance, want to go back to version 1, you definitely can. And that will save you sometimes, because you tweak so much. Even after 20 minutes, sometimes you will feel that you want to go back to original version. So these all steps together will limit your time of tweaking. You will have that formula and they will build your portfolio much faster. And the very last tip in this conversation is that do not think of one pattern as one pattern. This is my big tip that I'm also always teaching my students and my followers. Try to think that if you created a number of elements, you create one pattern, make a family of patterns out of them. If you are interested how to do that, I have lots of tips in my free workbook that I created for you guys, so you can see with illustrations how to take one pattern and create many patterns out of it. And if you start thinking that way, this perfectionism in your head disappears, because you think, oh, okay, so this pattern has little smaller elements, I want them bigger. You recolor and you make the elements bigger, but in a separate file. You create more and more and more and more of those files. All of a sudden you have a whole portfolio full of patterns much faster. But if you just stuck there tweaking for days, you will just have one file that you don't like. That's it. Alright, you guys, I hope this was helpful. I will put down the steps down below in text under this video so you can go through the steps one more time. But I do hope that I will save you frustration and will help you build your creative business faster with these tips and with my repeat and complete formula. Alright, you guys, make sure to grab the free ebook if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to my channel and please like this video, because this way I know that you want more videos just like this one. Alright, you guys, I wish you an awesome creative day and I will catch you in my next video. Bye!